So what's up, YouTube? I wanted to make a short little video about Marvel's recent Phase 3 announcement, which reveals their plans and their agenda going all the way through 2019, which is just incredible. And they've revealed three new comic book characters, three new heroes, and even a heroine, who for the first time will be, seen on the silver screen. And a couple of these people, well, really all of them except for the fourth one, was expected to an extent, I'd say. So let me just start out by saying May 6, 2016 is Captain America Civil War. They kind of played around at first and said, it was going to be called Serpent Society, but no, it is Civil War now. I will say, I'll be honest and say I haven't read the Civil War crossover material. That's something that I have to definitely catch up on. So then after that is going to be Doctor Strange. This, again, Doctor Strange was kind of hinted at in the past already, so we kind of had a good idea that they were going to be making a Strange film, so that wasn't too surprising. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, again, not too surprising given the success of the first one, so it's not surprising that they would want to re-up and create a sequel. Then we're getting Thor Ragnarok. I'm not just gonna be completely honest. I don't know much about Ragnarok. I know about Thor, and I don't know about Ragnarok. I've heard people talking about this character named Surtur, who's supposed to be this giant demon, and then there's other people who say, well, no, Ragnarok is like a clone. I don't know. But it's gonna be good regardless. And even the head of Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now, Kevin Feige, has come out and said that this is going to be a very important film. So, and it picks up where Avengers 2 leaves off. So that'll be interesting. And then the big news, the really, really huge news. There were two really big reveals, I think. And the first one was Black Panther, coming out November 3rd, 2017. Fans have been clamoring for a Black Panther film for years. Like it's like people wanted a Phase 2 Black Panther film. And they were saying, Black Panther's probably not coming until Phase 3, and they kept their word. So to know that, to see that there's actually a date and they actually have an actor, confirmed for the role, Chadwick Boseman, played in 42 and Get On Up. I think he's good for the role. People wanted, I've heard people say Idris Elba, but he's Heimdall. He can't do two things. And other people have said, Michael Jai White, but I don't know. I think Chadwick Boseman is really good. I mean, he looks like he's about 25, 26, even though he's about 36 or 37, 38, something like that. I think he's good for the role. And I think the way that they're doing it, bringing him out initially in Captain America Civil War before he gets his own film, and maybe possibly even dropping little hints of him in Age of Ultron, because if you look at that trailer, it definitely looks like Ulysses Claw is that Easter egg, and Kevin Feige even said there's an Easter egg in the trailer relating to Black Panther. So who else could that be but Claw in that one quick shot? But whether or not, and then they did film in South Africa. So, we're going to have to see. We don't know, though, whether or not T'Challa will actually be in Age of Ultron. What I think is they're going to have T'Chaka, his father, in some way, shape, or form in Age of Ultron. And T'Chaka is going to get killed by Claw. And then that's going to lead to Civil War. Well, not T'Chaka getting killed is going to lead to Civil War, but leading up to the Black Panther, in Civil War, I guess he's going to be hunting down Claw, and then Black Panther's when he's finally going to get his own movie. So I don't think he's going to get an actual origin story. I don't think we're going to see him in college and doing all that stuff. I think they're gonna, by the time Black Panther comes around, he's going to be the Black Panther. He's going to be the king of Wakanda, which means that Age of Ultron and Civil War has to be the stuff leading up to that. So, his father has to, if you know anything about the Black Panther story, his father gets killed by Claw, and that's what, sort of propels him to that leadership role. I think it's excellent. I wish Marvel had the X-Men right so they could play on that, that relationship between him and Storm, but that's not going to come into fruition. So I'm excited. I'm amped. I'm glad they finally revealed the movie, and I expect it to do very well. I don't think this movie, Marvel has come up with a system that works. That, when Guardians of the Galaxy was released and it made all of that money and it was as good as it was, and nobody knew what the hell a Guardians of the Galaxy was, that showed right there that they can take new characters, new brands, new lines of characters, and just release them, and the movie will do well, as long as they're fitting it in with the Avengers and the Avengers storyline. It's gonna do well because people want to keep up with what's going on. So the fact that Black Panther is being included in this, and Black Panther is not some separate, like if they had made Black Panther movie, and even the next movie that I'm about to talk about with the female character, if they had made them separate and sort of independent films, not included in the Avengers, phase, with Thanos and Ultron and all those guys, I don't think they would do as well. But since they're including them in phase 3, they're gonna do well. I just have no doubt about it. People know about Captain America, but you know about Captain America if you're a comic book fan. How many people outside of the comic book world really knew anything about Captain America like that? And the movie did great. And the same thing can be said about Iron Man. How many people outside of the comic book world knew about Iron Man? People probably heard about him, yes, but they didn't know like real details like that about his past or anything like that. So that's enough about the Black Panther. Coming out right after the Black Panther in 2018, May of 2018, is Avengers Infinity War Part 1. So they revealed that they are splitting Infinity War into two, or rather Avengers 3 into two separate films. So you can, I guess, call it Avengers 3 and Avengers 4 if you want to save some lip and not say Infinity War Part 1 and Infinity War Part 2. But regardless, this is going to be excellent. And I like this because Thanos is going to need two films. He's a major villain. He's the first super villain. Really, you could say Ultron is a super villain, but since he's nearly indestructible. But no, it's Thanos. Thanos is truly a super villain. He's the destroyer of worlds. He destroys everything he comes across. He loves death. And I wonder if they're gonna have that death character in this in this movie. They may write out death. Death is kind of weird, but death is kind of macabre. But yeah. So that's part 1, and of course it's gonna involve the Infinity Gauntlet. They even showed that during this whole press event in LA at the El Capitan Theater. So that's good. The only question at this point is, how long will these movies be? If you're like me, I want them to be 3-hour romps. Like, I want every movie, like Black Panther, Thor, Doctor Strange, especially Civil War. Civil War has to be 3 hours. Like, because they're including Iron Man, Black Panther. There's just a lot that, and Civil War, matter of fact, kicks off phase 3. So there's a lot that Civil War is going to have to lay the foundation for. So, yeah, so after Infinity War Part 1, we are getting Captain Marvel on July 6, 2018. You know, I said there were two things I wanted out of Phase 3. I wanted Black Panther, and I wanted a female superhero, a heroine film. You know, there hasn't been a female-led superhero movie since Elektra. And when did that come out again? Maybe 03, 04. I'm not exactly sure. It's been a while. It's been a long while since a female led her own, you know, comic book film. And the same thing goes for Black Panther. It's been since, you have to go back to Blade Trinity 2004, which was the last time an African American led a superhero film. So the Black Panther and Captain Marvel are you know, I think huge steps forward for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially given the fact that DC has revealed Wonder Woman and Cyborg. But I think they had Black Panther and Captain Marvel in the works before DC had, you know, revealed any of their stuff. So I don't think DC's reveals had a direct, you know, effect on Marvel. I don't think Marvel's just throwing this stuff out there because DC, you know, made their revelations. They were gonna do this stuff anyway. But Captain Marvel, the iteration they're going with is Carol Danvers. So you know, Captain Marvel has had there have been several characters who have taken up that title. You had a character named Marvel. Captain Marvel has always not even been a female. There have been male Captain Marvels, like Marvel, who was, I think, a Kree, so not a human. But we are going with Carol Danvers this time around. You had Monica Rambeau, who also took up the moniker of Captain Marvel. She's in the Mighty Avengers comic book line with Luke Cage and Falcon and some of those other guys, which I'm currently reading. That's a good. If you haven't read Mighty Avengers, you should probably pick it up. But that shows the Monica Rambeau version of Captain Marvel. This is not her. But I'm still hype about it regardless, because she is the most, or at least one of the most powerful characters in the entire Marvel universe. There aren't too many things that can challenge her. So she's definitely going to be needed with regards to Thanos. And then, so finally, after, you know, Captain Marvel, we get Inhumans. The biggest surprise, I think, of all of the revelations, of all the reveals, was the Inhumans story, the Inhumans film. And so, like, you have Black Bolt, and, you know, he can't speak. If he Black Bolt is the leader, sort of the dynastic leader of the Inhumans. These humans who were experimented on by aliens. So they're going to be, everybody's saying they're going to be Marvel's answer to mutants, because they don't own the X-Men franchise anymore. So I'm really excited on where this is going to go. November 2nd, 2018 is still a ways away. So, you know, I'm not as hype about Captain Marvel and the Inhumans as I am about Civil War, Doctor Strange, or even Black Panther, because 2018 is a ways away. But then after the Inhumans, we are getting Avengers Infinity Wars Part 2, which will wrap up Phase 3. So Phase 3 is going to involve 9 films, which is incredible. That is huge. Starting in 2017, they're going to be releasing 3 films a year, not just 2, which they've been doing up until this point. In 2018, they're going to be dropping 3 films as well. That is huge for Marvel. I think if all of these films are successful, I don't see them going back. Like, I don't see them going back to 2 films a year. Especially since you have to take into account, okay, well, after Avengers Infinity War Part 2, you know, they're gonna have a Phase 4. They're not just gonna stop and say, oh, well, we did what we set out to do, no more films. No, like, they're gonna continue making films. Like, this is gonna go on forever. So you have to think, like, are they not going to make another Iron Man movie? Are they not going to make another Thor or Captain America movie? Like if Doctor Strange and Black Panther or even Ant-Man are successful, are they not going to make sequels for those films? So they're going to need those 3 slots per year. Two films a year is not cutting it anymore. They need 3 slots. They need 3 films a year. So I'm just really hype. If you're a comic book movie fan, this was just the most incredible thing you could have possibly heard. Just about everything people wanted, they got. Except people wanted Spider-Man, and they wanted Marvel to reclaim the rights for Spider-Man, because Spider-Man actually is very important in a lot of these crossover events. Much more so than the Fantastic Four or the X-Men are extremely important too, but Spider-Man is very important, at least in the Civil War crossover, and a lot of people want to see him included in this, and that just didn't happen. And then a lot of people wanted a Hulk movie, but I think after the Phase 1 Hulk film, The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, and that kind of fell through because, Norton had these very public, nasty contract negotiations that just didn't work out. And then that movie just fell through the cracks. And they've tried twice making a Hulk movie, and neither one really worked out. I can kind of understand they may be a little timid this time around with Mark Ruffalo. So maybe we'll get a Hulk movie in Phase 4. That's another reason why you say, hey, they need 3 films a year. Because could they do another Hulk movie? And then some people wanted a Black Widow movie. I think given the nature of Phase 3 and given how the stakes are taken to another level. I mean, look, you have in Phase 3, you have 3 films: Thor Ragnarok, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and Captain Marvel, which will focus solely on space. Okay. Then you have, Doctor Strange, which is introducing, the whole magical realm of the comic universe, and they're introducing that realm into the cinematic universe. And then Black Panther even is introducing a leadership role, because Black Panther is a leader in the comics, and they're introducing this world of vibranium that's going to be very important, and I'm thinking it's going to be necessary in the defeat of Thanos, and obviously the defeat of Ultron, but Thanos as well. So every film that they've released is you can see the importance of it. You can, except for the Inhumans, you don't really know where they're going with that yet. But I think by the time Avengers Infinity War Part 1 comes out, I don't know that you follow that up with a Black Widow movie. I'm thinking the Inhumans are going to add a level of power to the overall superhero lineup that, Black Widow, she's already, if they were going to make a Black Widow film, it should have been in Phase 2. Like, they should have squeezed a Black Widow film in Phase 2. And I think Phase 3 is just a little too late, because I don't know that her character is not, when you look at Captain Marvel, you can see that Captain Marvel is going to add a level of power and prestige and just awesomeness to the Marvel Cinematic Universe that I don't know that Black Widow can add. She doesn't have any powers. She has a gun. She can kick ass. She definitely can kick some ass. But she doesn't fly. She's not indestructible. She can't go into space. So I don't know that they probably didn't feel like they had room to fit her in Phase 3. So like the Hulk, we're going to have to wait and see, after Phase 3, after 2019, if they're going to make a Black Widow movie. And I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know if it's going to happen, considering the fact that you wonder what they're going to do with the Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor franchises. You know, you think, could they make an Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Captain Marvel sequel? You know, could they do Guardians of the Galaxy 3? You know, there's just so much that they could do that they already have on their plate that I don't see when they could get around to a Black Widow movie. So I think that she may be relegated to, you know, co-star or you know, co-hero, if that's a word. It's probably not. But that's all I wanted to say about Marvel's Phase 3 lineup. I'm gonna show the trailer that everybody's probably seen already, but I'm gonna put it in this video anyway because it's just an awesome trailer and I want to get it out there, and there may possibly be people who haven't seen it yet. So without further ado, this is Marvel Age of Ultron.
I'm gonna show you something beautiful. Everyone screaming for mercy. You want to protect the world, but you don't want it to change. You're all puppets, tangled in strings.
It's the end. The end of the path I started us on.
Nothing lasts forever.